The alarms blared through Summit Technologies as stocks plummeted 40% in 15 minutes. In the chaos, a janitor tackled the CTO before he could reboot the system. "It's their quantum clock, check it," he gasped through bloodied lips. The sun crept through tattered blinds as Jack Parker prepared breakfast with practiced efficiency. A single dad at 39, his movements were those of a man who had surrendered dreams for responsibility. The small apartment kitchen gleamed despite its age, everything in its place, just as he kept the floors at Summit Technologies where he worked as a janitor. On the refrigerator, a child's drawings created a colorful mosaic stick figures labeled Daddy and Lily holding hands under crayon suns. The smell of blueberry pancakes filled the air as he flipped the last one onto a plate shaped like a princess crown. "Lily Bug, breakfast's ready," he called softly, setting the plate on their small table. 8-year-old Lily appeared in doorway, rubbing sleep from her eyes, her inhaler clutched in one small hand, a constant companion since she was diagnosed with severe asthma at age 3. Her blonde hair, so like her mother's, was tangled from sleep. "Did you make the special ones?" she asked, climbing onto her chair. Jack smiled, the weariness in his eyes momentarily replaced with warmth. "With extra blueberries, just how you like them." He watched her take the first bite, satisfaction crossing his face at her smile. These moments were why he had walked away from his career in physics engineering 4 years ago when Sarah died in the car accident. His daughter needed him more than the world needed another scientist. "Remember, Mrs. Wilson is picking you up today for the school field trip to Summit," Jack said, packing Lily's lunch, a sandwich cut into star shapes, apple slices, and her medication. "Maybe I'll see you there." Lily's eyes widened with excitement. "You mean I get to see where you work? Will I meet the Queen?" Jack chuckled at his daughter's nickname for his boss, Eliza Winters, CEO of Summit Technologies, who Lily had seen once on a magazine cover. "The Ice Queen stays on the top floors, sweetheart. But who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky." Across town, in a penthouse overlooking the city, Eliza Winters was already 3 hours into her workday. At 36, she had built Summit Technologies into a $20 billion empire through ruthless efficiency and brilliant innovation. The Wall Street Journal had dubbed her Silicon Valley's Ice Queen, a moniker she neither encouraged nor discouraged. What they saw as coldness, she recognized as necessary focus. Standing before floor-to-ceiling windows, she reviewed quarterly projections on her tablet, while her personal assistant rattled off the day's schedule. "The quantum server launch is in 3 weeks. Marketing wants final approval on the campaign. R&D reports the final stability tests are 98% complete. And the board wants reassurance about the security protocols after last quarter's attempted breach." Eliza nodded, her reflection in the glass, revealing a woman whose polished exterior designer suit, perfectly styled auburn hair, not a detail out of place, matched the precision of her mind. "Tell the board our security is unbreakable. This quantum system will revolutionize data protection." She set down her empty coffee cup. "Car's waiting. I need to be at the office in 20 minutes for the investor call." The drive to Summit Technologies was Eliza's only quiet moment of the day. As her Tesla navigated the morning traffic, she allowed herself 10 seconds no more to feel the weight of expectations pressing down on her shoulders. $20 billion, 2,000 employees, countless investors, all looking to her. There was no room for error, for weakness, for the loneliness that sometimes crept in during the rare silent moments. Her sister Caroline's voice echoed in her mind. "When was the last time you did something just because it made you happy?" Eliza pushed the thought away. Happiness was a luxury she had exchanged for success long ago. At precisely 7:15, Jack swiped his ID badge at Summit's service entrance. He changed into his gray uniform in the small maintenance locker room, exchanging nods with the other cleaning staff, mostly immigrants and single parents like himself, invisible to the company's elite. He checked his cart, cleaning solutions, mops, trash bags, all meticulously organized. The morning shift meant cleaning executive offices before occupants arrived, a routine he preferred. Empty offices didn't look through him as if he were part of the furniture. As Jack pushed his cart onto the executive floor, he heard raised voices from the conference room. Though he tried not to eavesdrop, words filtered through the partially open door. Quantum frequency stabilization could be compromised by external electromagnetic fields. The voice belonged to Dr. Adams, the chief engineer, sounding frustrated. Another voice, sharper, female, responded. "We've tested for every possible interference. The launch proceeds as scheduled." Eliza Winters. Jack quickly moved past. But not before his trained physicist's mind registered the problem they were discussing. Quantum systems were indeed vulnerable to certain electromagnetic frequencies, something he had researched years ago at MIT before life had taken an unexpected turn. Later that morning, as Jack was fixing a flickering light in the hallway outside the executive bathroom's maintenance wasn't his job, but he couldn't help solving problems when he saw them. The clicking of heels announced Eliza's approach. He stepped aside, eyes downcast as was his habit when executives passed. But instead of continuing by, the footsteps stopped. "What are you doing?" Her voice carried the crisp authority of someone used to being answered immediately. Jack glanced up, meeting ice-blue eyes that seemed to evaluate everything in terms of efficiency and cost. "The ballast was failing, ma'am. I noticed it yesterday." He gestured to the light fixture. "Should be stable now." Eliza's eyes narrowed slightly. "Isn't there a maintenance request process for this sort of thing?" Jack nodded, suddenly aware of how his actions might appear. "Yes, ma'am. I just thought since I was here, and had the tools." Eliza cut him off with a raised hand. "Next time, follow protocol. We have systems for a reason." As she walked away, she called over her shoulder, "And make sure you're wearing proper safety equipment. OSHA violations cost money." Jack returned to his cart, a familiar weight settling on his shoulders. It wasn't the first time his initiative had been misinterpreted as overstepping. In another life, he had been valued for seeing problems before others did. Now, his observations were unwelcome. A janitor should clean, not think. 3 weeks passed, and Summit Technologies buzzed with anticipation. Launch day for the quantum server system had arrived, promising to revolutionize data security for corporations worldwide. Jack maintained his routine, invisible as ever among the increasing number of press and VIPs filtering through the building. During his lunch break, he sat alone in the maintenance break room, scanning news reports about Summit on his phone. The stock had reached an all-time high in anticipation of the launch. Billions were riding on today's success. As he resumed his afternoon rounds, Jack noticed something unusual: a group of elementary school children being led through the main lobby on a tour. His heart lifted when he spotted Lily among them, her blonde head turning in all directions as she took in the soaring architecture and gleaming surfaces of the building where her father worked. He was about to call out when he noticed her separate from the group, distracted by the massive holographic display showing Summit's technological achievements. Within moments, the tour group had moved on, leaving Lily alone and suddenly aware she was lost. Jack was moving toward her when a figure in a tailored suit reached his daughter first. Even from behind, he recognized Eliza Winters' perfect posture. He watched, frozen in surprise, as the CEO knelt to Lily's level. He couldn't hear their words, but saw his daughter's lips trembling, then steadying as Eliza spoke. When he finally approached, Lily was smiling up at the woman the business world feared. "Daddy, this nice lady was helping me find my class." Eliza turned. Recognition and surprise, flashing across her features before her professional mask returned. "Your daughter, I presume?" she asked, straightening to her full height. Jack nodded, placing a protective hand on Lily's shoulder. "Yes, ma'am. Thank you for helping her." For a brief moment, something softened in Eliza's expression as she looked between father and daughter. "She's very articulate." She was explaining how air molecules move faster when heated. "Quite the little scientist." Lily beamed at the praise. "Daddy teaches me. He knows everything about science." Jack felt heat rise to his face as Eliza's gaze sharpened with curiosity. "Is that so? Well, your class is waiting in the East Atrium. I've arranged for someone to take you both there." With a final nod, she turned and walked away, leaving Jack to wonder at the brief glimpse of humanity behind the corporate facade. That afternoon, as executives and VIPs gathered for the official activation of the quantum server system, Jack was assigned to clean the observation deck overlooking the server room. Through the glass, he watched technicians make final adjustments to the gleaming black quantum processors. On a pedestal near the main console sat a decorative item he hadn't noticed before: an intricately designed quantum clock, its metallic surface etched with circuit-like patterns. According to the small plaque, it was a gift from their newest investor, Meridian Global. Something about its positioning bothered Jack: too close to the primary frequency modulators. As he watched, the system powered up, lights cascading through the processors in waves. Almost immediately, he noticed an anomalous pattern in the diagnostic displays. A slight oscillation imperceptible to most but to his trained eye, a warning sign of frequency interference. Jack approached a technician monitoring systems near the door. "Excuse me, I think there might be a problem with the electromagnetic field calibration." The young woman barely glanced at him. "Sir, this area is restricted to authorized personnel only." Jack persisted, pointing toward the displays. "The frequency modulation is showing signs of external interference. It could be coming from that new clock installation." The technician's expression hardened. "You're a janitor. Please stick to cleaning, and leave the quantum physics to the experts. Embarrassed, but still concerned, Jack returned to his cart. The oscillation pattern was subtle, perhaps he was overreacting. Still, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Over the next 3 weeks, Summit's quantum system operated with apparent success. Stock prices soared, clients signed contracts worth billions, and Eliza Winters appeared on the cover of Forbes, hailed as a visionary. But Jack noticed small signs that all was not well. Technicians making increasingly frequent routine adjustments. Brief system glitches dismissed as normal calibration issues. The oscillation pattern he'd observed growing more pronounced each day. He wrote a detailed analysis of the problem and potential solution, anonymously leaving it on Dr. Adams' desk. The next day, he found the note in the trash, unread. The morning of the catastrophe began like any other. Jack arrived at 7:15, changed into his uniform, and began his rounds. At 9:27, the first alarm sounded. By 9:30, all systems were failing. By 9:35, Summit Technologies was in full crisis mode. Jack watched from the periphery as engineers and executives rushed to the command center. Through snippets of panicked conversation, he pieced together the situation. The quantum servers were experiencing cascading failures. Security protocols were being breached. Data was being corrupted. Billions in value evaporating by the minute. At 9:42, Jack made a decision that would change everything. Abandoning his cleaning cart, he made his way to the crisis command center on the 50th floor. Security was distracted by the emergency, allowing him to slip through. Inside, screens displayed plummeting stock values and security breach warnings. Eliza Winters stood at the center of the storm, her voice sharp as she demanded solutions. Our entire security architecture is compromised. How is this possible? Dr. Adams looked ashen. We're detecting an unusual electromagnetic signature disrupting the quantum field. We need to perform an emergency system reboot. It's our only option. As the CTO reached for the reboot authorization panel, Jack burst forward. Stop. It's a quantum flux virus reboot triggers the kill switch. Security personnel immediately grabbed him, but not before he managed to point toward the screens. Check the quantum clock, it's broadcasting the attack. Eliza's face contorted with fury. Get this madman out of here, she shouted, but Dr. Adams had already frozen, hand hovering over the controls. Wait, how would a reboot trigger a kill switch? Jack struggled against the guards. The oscillation pattern, it's designed to exploit the reboot protocol. The moment you initiate, it will corrupt the encryption keys and erase everything. Eliza stepped forward, eyes blazing. You're the janitor who fixed the light. What could you possibly know about quantum systems? Despite the security guards restraining him, Jack met her gaze steadily. I was a quantum physicist at MIT before my wife died. Please check the gift clock from Meridian. The frequency signature is identical to the disruption. For 3 agonizing seconds, the room fell silent. Then Eliza nodded to Dr. Adams. Check it. The security team released Jack, but remained close as technicians examined the decorative quantum clock. The lead engineer's voice was barely audible. He's right. It's emitting a precisely calibrated interference pattern. And there's a transmitter inside. The clock was quickly contained in a Faraday cage. Within minutes, system stability began returning. As screens showed recovery progress, all eyes turned to Jack. Eliza's expression was unreadable. Who are you? Really? Jack straightened his janitor's uniform. Jack Parker. Former quantum field researcher at MIT. Current janitor and single father. The room remained silent until Eliza spoke again. Everyone out except Dr. Adams, and she hesitated, Mr. Parker. As the room cleared, she fixed Jack with a penetrating stare. Start talking. Everything. For the next hour, Jack explained how he had recognized the subtle interference pattern, the vulnerability in the quantum stabilization field, and why he believed it was a deliberate attack rather than a malfunction. Dr. Adams confirmed each point, adding that the transmitter found in the clock appeared to be designed by someone with intimate knowledge of Summit's security architecture. Meridian Global, Eliza said, her voice dangerously quiet. Our newest investor who would have gained controlling interest when our stock crashed. She turned to Jack. Why didn't you report this when you first noticed it? The question wasn't accusatory, merely seeking understanding. Jack hesitated. I tried, 3 weeks ago. I was told to mind my own business. I left a detailed analysis on Dr. Adams' desk, but Dr. Adams paled. The janitor's note. I thought it was trash. Eliza's expression darkened. So our $20 billion company nearly collapsed because we didn't listen to the janitor. She studied Jack for a long moment. What would you need to completely secure our system against similar attacks? Jack thought for a moment. Access to the core architecture, a team of engineers who will actually listen, and he checked his watch. I need to pick up my daughter from school at 3. A ghost of a smile touched Eliza's lips. The little scientist. Dr. Adams. Give Mr. Parker whatever he needs. Full access, full authority. She turned back to Jack. You'll be compensated appropriately, of course. And we'll send someone to pick up your daughter. Jack shook his head. I appreciate that, but I'll get her myself. Some things I don't delegate. Something flickered in Eliza's eyes. Respect, perhaps. Very well. Be back by 4. And Mr. Parker, thank you. For the next week, Jack led a team addressing the security vulnerabilities exposed by the attack. His janitor's uniform was replaced by business-casual clothes that felt strangely uncomfortable after years of gray cotton. Lily spent afternoons in a conference room converted to a temporary childcare space, complete with science books and art supplies provided by Eliza's assistant. On the third day, during a particularly intense coding session, Jack's phone buzzed with an alert from Lily's school. Her asthma was acting up, and she needed to be picked up immediately. As Jack hurriedly gathered his things, Eliza appeared in the doorway. Problem? He explained the situation, already moving toward the elevator. To his surprise, she fell into step beside him. I'm coming with you. My car will be faster than whatever you're driving. It wasn't a question. 20 minutes later, they were at the school nurse's office, where Lily sat wheezing despite having used her inhaler. Jack knelt beside her, voice calm despite his racing heart. Easy, Lily Bug. Slow breaths, remember? In through the nose, out through the mouth. Eliza watched the scene with unexpected emotion. After a moment, she knelt on Lily's other side. My sister had asthma too, she said softly. Sometimes it helps to imagine you're blowing out birthday candles, very slowly. Lily tried the technique, her breathing gradually steadying. The nurse suggested Lily go home for the day, and Jack found himself in Eliza's luxury sedan, his daughter drowsing in the back seat. The silence between adults was strangely comfortable until Eliza spoke. My sister would have been 32 this year. We lost her to pneumonia complications when she was 12. She kept her eyes on the road. That's why I built Summit. Our security systems protect medical research databases worldwide. Jack looked at her with new understanding. I'm sorry about your sister. Eliza nodded once, sharply. Thank you for what you're doing for the company. Not many people would help after being dismissed the way you were. Jack glanced back at Lily. She's why I do everything. Even mopped floors. When they reached his apartment building, a stark contrast to Eliza's penthouse world, she insisted on helping him get Lily settled. In his small living room, she paused before a bookshelf filled with advanced physics texts, scientific journals, and children's books arranged in cheerful disarray. Her fingers brushed a framed photo of Jack in graduation robes, a younger Lily in his arms. You gave up everything, she said, not quite a question. Jack tucked a blanket around his sleeping daughter on the couch. Not everything. Just a career. Eliza's eyes met his, a new respect evident. We should get back to Summit. There's still work to do. But as they left, Jack noticed her looking back at the small apartment, with an expression he couldn't quite identify, something between curiosity and reflection. As news of the averted attack spread through financial circles, Summit's stock rebounded dramatically. The FBI arrested 2 Meridian Global executives for corporate espionage and attempted sabotage. Summit Technologies emerged stronger than before, with enhanced security protocols designed by Jack himself. After 2 weeks of working with the security team, Jack quietly returned to his janitorial position, despite Eliza's offer of a permanent role in the technology division. I need the flexibility for Lily, he explained. Engineering deadlines don't care about asthma attacks or school plays. 3 days after Jack returned to his maintenance cart, Eliza found him cleaning windows in the East Atrium. There's a press conference tomorrow about the attack. I want you there. Jack shook his head. I'm not comfortable in the spotlight. That's your world, not mine. Eliza crossed her arms. Summit was saved by a janitor who was actually an MIT physicist. Do you have any idea what that story will do for our company image? For our stock value? Jack continued wiping glass in smooth, practiced motions. I didn't help to become a PR story. I did it because it was the right thing to do. Eliza watched him work for a moment. What if I make it worth your while? Jack finally set down his cloth. I don't want money. Eliza raised an eyebrow. Everyone wants something. Jack considered for a long moment. A scholarship fund. For children of maintenance and service staff. Not just at Summit, everywhere. Eliza's expression remained neutral. That's it? No corner office, no executive title? Jack shook his head. Education changes everything. It's what will give Lily choices I didn't have. After a pause, Eliza nodded. Come to my office tomorrow morning. We'll discuss details before the press conference. The next morning, Jack wore his only suit slightly outdated, purchased for Sarah's funeral years ago. In Eliza's sleek office, they finalized the terms. Jack would make a brief appearance at the press conference. Summit would establish a $10 million education fund for service workers' children. And Jack would serve as a part-time consultant on security protocols, with flexible hours accommodating Lily's needs. As they prepared to leave for the press room, Eliza paused. Why do you do it? Clean floors when you could design quantum systems? Jack straightened his tie, a task he'd almost forgotten how to do. After Sarah died, Lily needed stability more than money. Predictable hours, no travel, no professional pressures, taking me away emotionally. Maintenance work, let me be present for her. He shrugged. And honestly, there's something satisfying about making things clean and orderly. You can see the results immediately. Eliza considered this. I've never thought about it that way. For a moment, the CEO looked almost vulnerable. I haven't had time to make anything clean or orderly in my personal life for years. Before the press conference, Jack called Lily's school to check on her. Eliza waited patiently, watching as his face softened while talking to his daughter. When he hung up, she asked, "Everything okay?" Jack nodded. She's presenting her science project today, States of Matter. She's nervous. Eliza smiled slightly. Like father, like daughter. Except you're facing journalists instead of fourth graders. Jack laughed, the sound surprising them both. Fourth graders ask tougher questions. The press conference exceeded expectations. Eliza presented Jack as the observant staff member whose expertise saved Summit Technologies, carefully avoiding the word janitor while still honoring his role. When reporters pressed for details about his background, Jack spoke briefly about transitioning careers to care for his daughter. One journalist asked what qualified him to identify the security breach. Jack's answer, simple yet profound, became the headline in business publications worldwide. Problems look the same at every level. Whether it's a flickering light or a quantum server, the fundamentals of observation don't change. Sometimes the person with the mop sees what others miss because they're looking at different angles. In the following months, Summit Technologies implemented a company-wide restructuring. Every department was encouraged to seek input from staff at all levels. The Summit Education Foundation launched with a mission to provide educational opportunities to children of service workers across the country. Jack continued his dual role, maintaining his janitorial position while consulting on security protocols 3 afternoons a week. Lily's asthma improved with new treatments paid for by the improved health insurance Jack now received. Eliza, meanwhile, found herself stopping more often in hallways and atriums, not just seeing the spaces, but the people maintaining them. She learned names, asked questions, listened to answers. Board members noticed the change, some with approval, others with suspicion. When questioned about her softening management style, Eliza's response was characteristically direct. Valuing human capital isn't softening. It's smart business. Just ask our shareholders. 6 months after the attack, on a crisp autumn morning, Jack prepared breakfast in his small kitchen. Lily sat at the table, practicing her spelling words. A knock at the door surprised them both. Jack opened it to find Eliza holding a bag from an upscale bakery. I brought croissants, she said, as if morning visits to employees' homes were routine. Lily jumped up, delighted by the unexpected guest who had, over months of occasional interactions, become something of a hero to her. Miss Winters, did you bring the chocolate ones? Eliza smiled, a genuine expression that had become less rare in recent months. Chocolate for you, almond for your dad, plain for me. She set the bag on the counter with the familiarity of someone who had been there before. Jack poured coffee into 3 mugs regular for the adults, hot chocolate for Lily. They settled around the small table, Lily chattering excitedly about her science club's upcoming competition. Dad's helping me build a model of an atom, but we need special materials for the electron cloud. Eliza listened attentively. I might have some resources that could help with that. She turned to Jack. The Education Foundation is expanding to 10 new cities next quarter. The board was impressed by the positive press. Jack nodded, pleased but not surprised. It's good business. Companies supporting employees' families get loyalty money can't buy. Lily finished her breakfast and excused herself to gather her school things, leaving the adults in companionable silence. You know, Eliza said finally, I had my assistant run the numbers. If we implemented your perspective sharing program company-wide, we could increase efficiency by 7% annually. Jack smiled. Only 7? I'm disappointed. Eliza rolled her eyes, a gesture that would have shocked her business associates. In corporate terms, that's revolutionary. She hesitated, then added, "The Tokyo Technology Summit is next month. I'd like you to present our security protocols." Jack's expression grew cautious. "I told you, I can't travel." "Lily could come with us," Eliza finished. "It's during her school break. Tokyo has excellent medical facilities if her asthma acts up." And she looked slightly uncomfortable. "I thought she might enjoy the robot museum." Jack studied her face, recognizing the offer beneath the business proposition. "You've researched kid-friendly activities in Tokyo?" Eliza shrugged, but color touched her cheeks. It was logical to consider all aspects of the trip. When Lily returned, backpack ready, Jack walked her to the door. "Miss Winters and I need to talk business for a minute. Wait for me by the elevator, okay?" Once Lily was out of earshot, Jack turned to Eliza. "Are you sure about this? Tokyo isn't just business." He struggled for words. Eliza met his gaze directly. "I know what it is, Jack. That's why I'm asking." The moment stretched between them, full of unspoken possibilities. Finally, Jack nodded. "I'll think about it." Eliza gathered her things, professional demeanor returning. "The company will cover all expenses, of course." At the door, she paused. "One more thing. There's a symphony performance this weekend. Beethoven's Fifth. Would you?" She stopped, then started again with uncharacteristic uncertainty. "Would you and Lily like to join me?" Jack's smile reached his eyes. "Lily has a sleepover Saturday. But I'm free." Something shifted in Eliza's expression, surprise, then pleasure. "Just us, then." It wasn't a question. Jack nodded. "Just us." After she left, he stood in the doorway, watching her sleek car pull away from the curb. Lily appeared at his side, slipping her small hand into his. "I like her, Daddy." "Do you?" Jack squeezed his daughter's hand, feeling possibilities unfold before them like pages in a new book. "Yes," he said simply. "I do."